What's going on, chimps? This is Chimp Guy. Let's get right into it. Black Friday deals. You know, we miss the days of running over each other in a Walmart for a $5 toaster, but there's still some deals out there, depending on what you like. If you know where to look, if you got some nice local comic stores, you can find some great deals, support local business, stuff like that. I want to talk about the comics I got this Black Friday. There's a store inside my local mall called Entertain Mart. You might have heard of it. You might have even been to one. They also have another business, Movie Trading Company. They are owned by the same parent company, I believe. It's called like Vintage Stock or something. They are resale stores, basically. They primarily focus on like used movies, DVDs, Blu-rays, but they also have books, collectibles, figures, and comic books. And these are the comic books that I got on Black Friday. So let's jump right in. I got a bunch of comics, buy one, get one free. I think they separated my bags into the $2.99 and the $3.99. So let's start with the $2.99 bag. So here in the $2.99 bag, we see a little Supergirl. I have never read this run of Supergirl. As you can see, it says Loeb. I'm assuming that is Jeff Loeb, famous comics writer. And yeah, they had issue number 0 and issue number 1. So boom, $3 each. I got both of these for $3. So I mean, can't beat that. Don't mind the cat. And now, Batman number 19 and Batman number 20. The reason I got these issues is because these issues take place between 0 year, I believe, like right before 0 year, if I'm not mistaken. So if you collect the different graphic novels, these are collected, I believe, in volume 6, which is called like the Graveyard Shift. I'm checking here. Yeah, basically it is a 2-issue story about Batman and Clayface. And I love Clayface. I love Greg Capullo's art and the way that he draws Clayface. So I thought, you know, I don't have volume 6, Graveyard Shift. I don't really recommend people buying Graveyard Shift because it's a bunch of just kind of random filler issues after 0 year as they were building towards Endgame with the Joker. So I got these 2 issues specifically because I really liked this little Clayface story, and I don't own these, and I don't plan to buy the graphic volume that collects these 2 issues specifically. So also, this is New 52 Batman, you know, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo. I have a lot of single issues. That's kind of when I first started getting into comic books. So yeah, Batman 19 and 20. Now here is some Wolverine we got going on. They're kind of out of order right now. Oh, okay, I understand what's going on. So Wolverine Origins is next up. I have issues 2, 3, 4, and 5. Little sneak peek into my $3.99 bag. I believe they had Wolverine Origins issue 1 at $3.99, so we may see that later. I found these in consecutive order, and I was like, well, heck yeah. I've never read this. I have heard people recommend the Daniel Way Wolverine stuff. So yeah, I love Wolverine. I haven't read a lot of his origin story stuff, so it could be a fun little dive into the world of Wolverine. I flipped these around so I don't spoil the reveals. Next up, I have a couple issues of Denny O'Neil's The Question run. I love The Question. I haven't read a lot of Question. I've read him in stuff. I just started reading the new Question series, All Along the Watchtower, which is about the Question being the security guard of the Justice League's Watchtower. So yeah, I have heard that this is a seminal Question run and one of the few actual question runs. And yeah, I just saw these. I saw this cool issue 20 with this cool little cover got me, and I saw issue 5 here, and I was like, you know what? Why not just grab these, start building my question collection. Next, we have something I've never read, didn't even know existed. All my chimp heads know what's up. This is Tarzan versus Predator. Okay, so Tarzan versus Predator. I think this is super cool. And you know, Predator's getting a lot of runs nowadays. They just wrapped up Black Panther versus Predator. And next year, 2025, they're going to have Spider-Man versus Predator. They've previously done Batman versus Predator, Wolverine versus Predator, which I know is really popular. So I saw these 2 issues and I was like, heck yeah, let's read some Tarzan versus Predator. Next in the $2.99 pile, oh, didn't realize I had this. Question Annual #1. As I said, I was building my little question collection. And Punk Rock Jesus #1. Punk Rock Jesus is really interesting because I bought the graphic novel at a used bookstore on a random guy's recommendation. I was in this store in Denton, Texas called Recycled Books, one of the coolest used bookstores ever. And I was in the comic aisle, kind of looking around, and there was this guy also just staring, and I thought, why not strike up a conversation? I said, hey man, what do you read? And he seemed like he knew what he was talking about. I believe his name was Josh, so shout out Josh. And he recommended me 2 different graphic novels, one of them being Punk Rock Jesus. So I have the graphic novel somewhere, but I was like, heck yeah, a #1 in the wild for $2.99. Can't go wrong with that. So yeah, that is it for my $2.99 pile. Now let's get into the $3.99 pile. All right, so this $3.99 pile is not as interesting as the $2.99 pile. It's not as diverse, I should say. We have, like I mentioned earlier, Wolverine Origins #1 for $3.99. Yeah, so I got that. I'm gonna read that run now, at least those first 5 issues, and see what's up. But remember, all these buy one, get one free. So I'm getting like 2 comics at a time for $3. A lot of them being like #1s, like Question Annual #1, Punk Rock Jesus #1, Tarzan vs. Predator #1, and now Wolverine Origins #1. So yeah, let's get into another $3.99 one I have. Superheroes Battle Super Gorillas. My chimps. I had to get this one. If you know me, you know I love apes. I love chimps, I love gorillas, and I love the DC universe. DC Special presents. And it says Superman tackles Titano, Batman fights the Beast Bomb, The Flash versus Grodd, Gorilla Grodd we all know, and Wonder Woman captured by alien apes. This looks awesome, and it's old and has gorillas. Yeah. Next on the $3.99, we're gonna get into a lot of Shazam. That's right, the rest of my $3.99 buys are all Shazam from 2023, 2024, those, whatever. Dan Moira, How I Love You So, has some beautiful covers here. Dan Moira also did the first 6 issues of art with Mark Waid writing. And it is some of the best looking Shazam I have ever seen. And that is why Dan Moira is now the artist of the Justice League Unlimited. I really enjoyed the first volume, which collected issues 1 through 6. It's called Meet the Captain. You can get it for pretty cheap. It's a nice little introduction to Shazam if you're not super familiar with the character. Yeah, so I found issues 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, and 15. This is a super fun series, and I am glad that I have now collected a lot of them. And I'm actually getting Shazam monthly in my saver at my local comic book store. And I'm really enjoying this whole dawn of DC and now DC All In, this direction that they've gone with the character. Now, finally, that is all the back issues that I bought for Black Friday at Entertain Mart, but my local comic book store decided to do a Black Friday / Small Business Saturday sale where all omnibuses were 10% off and all graphic novels were 20% off. And I could not pass that up. I really wanted to buy an omnibus, but I just spent a pretty penny on a DC versus Marvel omnibus, and I couldn't really justify spending that much money on an omnibus again, even with the 10% off. I've been eyeing the Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Hard Traveling Heroes omnibus that just came out recently. I will grab that one day, but I did buy 3 different graphic novels, all for 20% off, and I'll show you those. Starting off, we just talked about Dan Moira, so why not talk about him a little more. World's Finest, Volume 4, Return to Kingdom Come. Kingdom Come, if you do not know, is a landmark in DC Comics history. Kingdom Come was a graphic novel written by Mark Waid, just like World's Finest is written by Mark Waid, illustrated by the great Alex Ross. It's a really great graphic novel. And this series, Batman, Superman, World's Finest, has been a lot of fun. I've read volumes 1 through 3 now. I'm actually in the middle of volume 3. It is a Batman, Superman team up with Robin. Robin is actually a big player in this series. It is a team up story where it's kind of out of time. It's in its own little nugget of the character's history. It's not necessarily like modern continuity Batman and Superman. It's like a few years back, and you know, Batman's got the classic blue and gray costume and Superman's got his classic costume, and Dan Moira, again, just an incredible artist, and he is just showing off with this series, and he's getting to draw all these amazing DC characters. And so this volume, to my understanding, is about the world's finest Batman and Superman traveling the multiverse and, you know, going into the Kingdom Come universe, which was originally kind of like an Elseworlds type story. World's Finest is just an easy read. That's one of them that I got for 20% off. Another one that I got, Frank Miller's RONIN. Frank Miller's RONIN. I love Frank Miller. I think a lot of people like Frank Miller. He's a very important writer and artist in the history of comic books. His Wolverine art from, you know, early in his career is incredible. Sin City is incredible. Dark Knight Returns, obviously. He's even drawing a lot of variant covers for comics coming out today. And his style has changed and evolved. Some people don't like it. I think it interests me very much. I think it's very compelling what he's doing nowadays. And yeah, he did a variant cover for Absolute Batman. He did a variant cover for this series that I'm reading called Falling in Love on the Path to Hell. I just wanted to dive into some of his other stuff. And Frank Miller's RONIN has kind of been a blind spot for me as a comic reader. And I'm excited to finally dive into this. He wrote and drew this series, just like with Sin City and Dark Knight Returns. I am always really impressed when creators are able to do that, write and draw, because drawing is hard, writing is hard, and the fact that you can kind of do both of those things. I also think that it makes the creative vision a bit more clear when you're able to draw your own ideas that you're writing down. It's kind of similar to like a writer-director for a movie. So yeah, I love Frank Miller. I'm excited to get into that. And finally, the last book that I got for Black Friday at my local comic shop is Tales of the Batman. Tales of the Batman by Tim Sale. I believe they have Tales of the Batman for multiple different artists, and it's just their different interpretations on the character. And this one is collecting early drawings and early stories that Tim Sale did for Batman. And Tim Sale, if you do not know, drew the very important, very seminal Batman The Long Halloween and Batman Dark Victory with Jeff Loeb as the writer. And he is my favorite Batman artist. Frank Miller's up there, but Tim Sale, I think, just has a very unique vision on the character and the world of Gotham that is very compelling, very cool, very interesting. He draws lots of thin noses. He draws some very interesting background set pieces. And yeah, I love him very much. He sadly passed away a couple years ago, but he has left a great legacy for himself. And I'm excited to kind of dive into these earlier Batman tales that aren't necessarily collected any other way. So it's cool to see some of his earlier work with Batman before The Long Halloween and Dark Victory. But yeah, I mean, look at this. This is just incredible stuff. Don't know how well you can see it, but there we are. Yeah, so that is what I got during Black Friday. Anyway, that's it for me today. But thank you guys so much. Like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And maybe I'll talk about movies in the future. Maybe I'll talk about more comics. I thought this would be a fun video. Maybe I should do a weekly series about what I'm getting each week at the local comic shop. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions about what kind of content I should do now. But thank you so much again, and I'll see you in the next one.